at some point I am going to move away, but Champaign will always be my home. Like, I'm not going to go somewhere else and be like, yo, I'm from New York. No, I'm from Champaign, and Champaign molded me into who I am. Like, it's people here that believed in me more than I believed in myself at a point. So I'm always going to support my hometown, and I'm always going to come back.
This is Champaign is Also a Band podcast. One songwriter, one song. I'm Sven, your host for a journey into the music of Champaign-Urbana. Recorded in the Blue Box studio with a songwriter from the Champaign-Urbana music scene, past or present. Welcome to Champaign is Also a Band podcast. This is Sven, and today I'm here with Gatson. We're going to be listening to the song Draft Day Prelude.
Yeah.
And so Gatson, welcome to the show, and thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
So I guess without further ado, let's listen to the song.
Gonna feel this. Dope, so I don't know if it's gonna feel. Yeah. Yeah. Look. Draft day, nigga, I'm ready for war. AP, ain't this what the world been waiting for? That real ish. Give me any beat and watch I kill it. The illness, that boy spit dope. I know the fiends gon' feel this. They say I'm oh so underrated. I came up elevated my city. We bout to make it. This is the dedication. Run with me, you run from me. They want that smoke. I'm giving out that free gas. This that premium. Thinking cause you rock the metro that your shit booming. Get you jumped on from the top of the roast like I'm Jeff Hardy. I ain't reached my potential. Nah, not hardly. Next summer, watch I cop a Harley and roll through the city and stun on the ones that used to stun on me. Difference is I make this shit look so easy. Never had to sell my soul for the world to believe me. No cosign, but we still achieving. I'm really somewhere that they should be afraid of. This shit not even, we winning by landslides, bruh. Everything I own, never will I be a slave to fame. Believe in shit, when I leave this earth, they gon' know my last name. Gatson. Some niggas fake it till they make it on that acting shit. Me, I never had to, cause I'm more than just the average chick. Never had a pot to piss in, now that I got it, I piss gold on the ones that said I would've had shit. It's funny how the tables turn, huh? They see me blowing, now they feeling every word, huh? Always knew I would be straight like I got a perm, Used to beg to be on shows, they gave me the runaround. Now I'm asking promoters what their budget is. Tired of being humble, I'm pissed. What it's like to be the last one standing in the Royal Rumble. They never paid attention, worth the P. Now they gotta pay that price, no thinking twice, we need that fee.
He got in the cut, they don't even know me. Yo, this draft day on the way, man.
I guess since this is actually like a prelude to the album Draft Day, is this like what inspired? Is this to set up exactly what the album itself is all about?
What's funny, this don't even sound like nothing on the project.
Really?
This was inspired by us going different places this year and just seeing the world, and me being inspired by different places. I got tired of being so humble, so I want to get on the track and like just really talk how I want to talk, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So that's basically what inspired it. Just traveling this year, and I just wanted something that was going to be different from what you're going to get on the project, because the project is more of a emotional roller coaster.
It feels like, at least, you said that this was inspired by you traveling and doing these different venues and basically going all over the world. What you're talking about, it just seems like it's been a long time coming, and it's like you can finally be proud of yourself in terms of being able to just you deserve this because you are talented. What made it important that you kind of allowed yourself to finally be proud of your accomplishments and that you deserve, the accolade?
So I used to be down on myself a lot, like questioning if music was what I was supposed to be doing. And last year I almost gave up completely, like just wrapped up everything. But I guess God started opening up more doors for me to go different places, meet new people. I don't know. It just felt different. Like when you doing it for something bigger than yourself, a purpose, So like I started doing music in 2009, and that was after my friend was murdered in Champaign by Champaign police when we was 15. So music is more of my therapy, my outlet. It's not about money or fame, because I can care less about that. It's just about helping myself cope and helping somebody else around the world that probably dealing with the same stuff as me, helping them cope. That's what music is for me, like just a therapy.
What drew you into being a part of the music scene? Yeah.
I started off doing poetry. Poetry was just something I did since I was younger. But after my friend was murdered, poetry wasn't speaking enough for me. So, and I felt like at the time that I didn't speak out enough. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like me writing songs and expressing myself was my way of filling a void with myself. My music is inspired by my everyday situations, like what I'm going through. I don't write for other people, I write for myself.
So with this new album, are you also producing this album as well?
I worked with a producer out of California. His name is Professa, and he produced this whole project exclusively.
Let's describe a little bit about how you collaborated on this project. I'm fascinated by having that collaborative, like you develop the words and you have the producer that develops your beats and then puts it together.
Yeah.
Was there something where you brought some words to the producer, or you said, I want this type of feeling, and then they produced the music?
We knew we wanted to work on the project, but we didn't necessarily have a sound yet. And my manager had been looking for different producers around the world, honestly, and just trying to find a sound that fits me, what I talk about. And he found Soul Professor, and we end up talking, and he sent me like one instrumental at the time. I remember I wrote to it the same day, and I always send it to like 3 people to make sure everything sounds right. And I sent it back to him, and he was like, yo, we should do an EP. So that's how it came about. Then I recorded all the vocals myself. Then I sent the vocals to Johnny, and Johnny mixed the whole project. Then we just kept bouncing ideas off each other. Then the producer, he added some more sounds, some more instruments, and sent it to Johnny, and Johnny just put the finishing touches on it, and we came up with I think is a hella project, my best work so far.
You put out the album Blessed to Become a Blessing, or is that an EP?
It's an EP.
Yeah, okay. Just think if there's a collection of more than like 4 songs, I always want to call it an album. But it just fascinates me that in 2018, which was just last year, you put out this great album. You just mentioned that you almost thought that you were going to give up. Was this before or after this EP?
It was before.
Wow.
It was before. Like I used to deal with depression, and I didn't like talking to people. So my way of trying to talk to people was through music, but I felt like my music wasn't being heard, so I felt like I wasn't being heard. After I dropped the project, it actually opened up a lot of doors for us, and like we got our first big festival last year, A3C in Atlanta. And that's like one of the biggest hip-hop festivals in Atlanta that they offer. We got invited to go, so that was big for us. And it opened so many doors just going there alone. So that, I don't know, it just seemed like when I was about to give up, that God just showed me like, yo, you're doing this for something, You're able to use music as a voice for yourself, but also to speak to those that may be facing hopeless situations or feel that they're in a hopeless situation as well. That brings me into your would you call it a record label, Believers Dynasty, or it's more of like a consortium or whatever you want to call it, but like it seems like a group of like-minded people that want to. It's a collective.
So how did that get started?
Actually, it's weird. It's very awkward, and I don't think we ever told this story, but we all met each other because we J. Cole fans.
Really? Oh, okay.
And I met my manager at Dollar and the Dream in New York.
Wow.
At first, I was just somebody on the internet that was spamming people. Like I was spamming everybody that listened to J. Cole, that was a J. Cole fan on Twitter, I was spamming them, and you can probably hit up somebody, they probably tell you, yeah, he spammed me. Like I spammed everybody. So that was me back then. But like, I met my manager at Dollar and a Dream, and we started having more conversations. And he didn't even want to like manage me at first. He was into music, but he wasn't trying to be in the business world. You know, he's more into technology. That's what he went to school for.
Okay.
So,
well, how did you know that they would be a good manager? Like, I mean, if they didn't want to do it and that wasn't their thing, how did you know that they would be a good manager?
He just got a drive that's unmatched. So it's like he had all the tools to be a manager, you know. He just at the time didn't want to do it.
Oh, I see.
But he was already a fan of the music. At first, one of my other friends sees he was managing me, and he had some stuff that was going on that he couldn't really consume all his time to being a manager. So P felt like, yo, I can't let my friend just, you know, go down the drain, and he actually started to make a little noise. So he stepped up. And we've been moving ever since.
So is there an overall narrative with the draft day
project?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm going to let people make their own meanings to it, because I want people to feel their own way. But for me, the project felt like I have finally beat depression. So that's why I named it Draft Day, because I finally felt like I beat depression. I was talking to my friend yesterday, and I explained what the project meant to me, and he just said like survival's guilt. Like, and why he said that is because I always used to beat myself up when I was younger, because I felt like I was so dope and I could have got a deal at a young age, but I didn't see my own potential. So in the mix, I lost a lot of friends to like death, to jail, and I felt like if I would have got a deal at a younger age, that I could have prevented everything. So it's more of like me still being here and knowing that I could have possibly prevented everything. So that's what the project means to me, like finally seeing that I can't put all that weight on myself. So me beating depression is like the best way to put it, or beating survival's guilt.
And this was like, you said you were 15.
Yeah.
And like, that's a hell of a lot to put on yourself.
So like, that's what the project mean to me. But like I said, I want people to listen to it and make their own meaning. There's something on there for everybody. Draft Day, in my eyes, my opinion totally.
Yeah.
And I'm about to say this because I want the hip hop scene to get back competitive. I feel like it's definitely going to be the best hip hop project to come out of Champaign this year. And like I said, it's my best work, and it's completely honest. It's stories on there that I'm just now starting to open up with, because it's stuff that I'm still not comfortable rapping about. So I finally started to open up some more. So it's just it's crazy to see myself actually telling stories that I never spoke about, and it's just from the production to the vocals to the mixing, it's really good.
When you record the vocals, do you have your own studio here in Champaign?
Yeah, I got my own setup.
Or is it Champaign-Urbana?
Well, actually, where I stay in Rantoul, so
okay.
I got my own setup in Rantoul, and I just record my vocals myself. I used to be into engineering and stuff, but I ain't got enough time to study it right now, and I just want to be the artist. So I record my vocals and I send it out to engineers and let them mix.
Are you using just your laptop or
I use my laptop and Studio One Personas. That's what I record into.
Is that a usual step to like kind of trade the vocals that way, as opposed to actually going into a studio and recording? It's kind of neat to have that like back and forth idea.
So many people don't do that though, but you can do it, and it can make your project sound 10 times better. But the reason I do it personally is because I have to record by myself and feel comfortable. Like I have to feel comfortable, and if I can go into the biggest studio in the world and record, but if I don't feel comfortable, it's not gonna come out the same. So I just want to feel comfortable. Like Blessed to Become a Blessing, I didn't record myself, so people think it's a good project. Don't get me wrong, it is a good project, but it could have been 10 times better if I recorded it myself and just sent the vocals to James, is the one that mixed Blessed to Become a Blessing. So if I would have just recorded my vocals myself and sent it, it would have been 10 times better. the delivery and everything, just more emotion, and because I don't feel like people watching me, if that makes sense.
Well, and also I was thinking, gosh, that'd be, in some ways, it's like then when you're doing the recording by yourself, you can be like, no, I don't like that, so I'm just going to completely scrap that, and then you don't feel like you're wasting an engineer's time, or like you're paying for that time. You're just like, I'm going to take my time to do the words I want to do and the way I want to do them.
And that's another reason why I don't like it's cool letting engineers in every studios mix your project, but it's like I don't want to go into a studio and feel like I got to hurry up and get the verse out because I'm getting charged hourly, you know?
Right.
Like I got to hurry up and get this out so I ain't got to pay that much.
Right.
So I just want to feel comfortable, and I don't want to feel like people watching me. So like, I'd rather just record it myself. But I'm completely different when it comes performance wise. Like, I don't care who watching, but when I'm recording, it's different. I can't be around a lot of people.
Yeah. So that does kind of change it. So when you're performing, do you have this sense of like, do you get more of that sense of like community and you feel supported that way, and that gives you the confidence to do it? Or like, what's the catalyst? What's changing it as you recording versus as you performing? Like, what's the big change there?
I don't know exactly what the change is, but like before I perform, I have to be away from people. Like, I have to walk away and be by myself and like get my thoughts in. Like, I just got to be by myself before I perform. Then when I do perform, it's not me performing, if that makes sense. Like, sometimes I see into the crowd, but like I don't see into the crowd most of the time. So it's like I'm up there performing, but it's not me performing. Yeah, that's weird, but that's how I feel.
Well, when you said that, like, I don't know why this image popped into my head. A few times that I've performed, there's that, like, when you hit that first part where you're like, I'm starting and there's no turning back and I can't just like run off the stage. It's that moment. Almost reminds me of like as you're going click 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 up the roller coaster, and like you just hit that point and it's like there's no turning back. It's just falling, and you're just apart from yourself at that point because you're so for me it's like you're so scared that you're separated from it. But that made me think of that whole like, well, like this is it, that's all I got. So I don't know if that's kind of that's what I used to get nervous before shows. Well, I still get nervous before shows, but it's not nervous in the sense of like I'm gonna mess up or something. It's just like I'm nervous because I'm itching so badly to prove that I'm someone that should be taken serious in the music industry. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I get nervous just because I want to prove to myself and to others like that I should be taken serious. Do you think that that's more that happens more often with hip-hop in general?
Yeah,
like just to be taken seriously.
Yeah, because I see it 10 times a day on social media. Everybody want to be a rapper. At a certain point, you gotta like take yourself serious. Like, I invested so much money into this music that like if I just gave up, I would be stupid. Once you invest money into it, it's no longer a hobby. You might not even be making money at the time, but it's your job, because I'm doing it for longevity, and I know at a point that the money is going to come in, and it's going to come in consistently. So I'm not really worried about money right now. Money I can care less about, but it's just like it's no longer a hobby. So like people that hit me up, you got to understand I am busy now. Like some people don't understand that, and they think I'm just being like my ego too big or something, like, and that's not the case. Because I work with anybody, and it was a point in time like I used to hit people up and I never got features. Nobody used to want to work with me, so it's just crazy now.
Champaign is Also a Band podcast is proud to support Jubilee Cafe. Jubilee Cafe is a free weekly meal program at Community United Church of Christ, 805 South 6th Street in Champaign, Illinois. Jubilee Cafe serves a home-cooked meal from 5 to 6:30 each Monday. Their mission is to feed hungry people by cooking healthy, delicious meals and by serving their guests restaurant-style with servers waiting on tables. Jubilee Cafe is open to anyone who cares to eat with them. Because food insecurity among students is so high, they serve students as well as others in and around the Champaign-Urbana community who struggle with hunger. Meals are free to all and will be served each Monday evening. Located in the accessible lower level of the building at 6th and Daniel Streets in Champaign. For more information on the meal or how to volunteer, go to the Jubilee Cafe CUCC Facebook page or email them at jubilee.cafe@community-ucc.org. That's jubilee.cafe@community-ucc.org. Do you have a favorite venue? It doesn't even have to exist anymore, but like a favorite place that you played or a favorite place that you went and saw a show?
I would have to say personally, like IMC, the Independent Media Center, they gave me my first chance. They definitely gave me my first chance, and they really support me, and they've been a big help to like my music career. So first them. But secondly, like Canopy, that's like my home.
Yeah.
So the Canopy is my home. So yeah,
Excellent.
Those two.
What was your favorite performance that you've ever had?
I would have to say recently, right now, my favorite performance had to be when we just went to Canada.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Where were you in Canada?
It was an outside stage at, I think it's called the Cube in Winnipeg, Canada. Man, it was so much love. It was genuine, and they really support real hip hop there.
That was what made it so amazing, is that it was very like well attended and like a lot of support.
And they actually show you the support. They give you your flowers. You know. It was called the Northern Music Touch Fest.
So gosh, you've been all around the world, you know, traveling and sharing your music. So what do you think the Champaign-Urbana music scene could like do better?
The Champaign-Urbana music scene could support hip hop more, because although it's some places that do support hip hop, they don't really support us. They don't want us to be like a household there, if that makes sense. If
I'm understanding correctly, it's like there's not really, you can't look at a venue and go like, well, that's a hip hop venue. No. Right? Because you can look at so many, you can look at like the Rose Bowl and you're like, well, that's a country venue. Yeah. You can look at like Blackbird and you can be like, well, that's a rock venue. But I mean, I'm overgeneralizing, but there is that sense. It's like you don't have something that you're like, that's a hip hop place. Right. No, we ain't got that. But that's like the biggest thing. Just like, but they've been doing a better job recently, from like just booking more shows and trying to support more local acts, because it's a lot of dope music in Champaign-Urbana that's just being overlooked. So I feel like if they actually put a little bit more effort into like the hip hop scene, it would be like bigger, especially as eyes on Champaign-Urbana now. So support us. So when you perform, what's the usual like setup? So my ideal performance would be like live band, live everything. I love live sounds, so that's my ideal. But I ain't quite there yet. I'm working on it, but I ain't there yet. Yeah, each person needs a paycheck, so it's like that. Yeah. I'm working on it. I ain't quite there yet. But what my performance setup is now has been just me rapping and my DJ now that we got an official DJ. What's like your favorite Champaign-Urbana musician, let's just say? So I like Trouble Chasin, them the homies. Yeah. I like Moden, FlipsideMoton. He pretty dope. Do you have any like thoughts about the Champaign-Urbana music scene? You've been around for quite some time, probably longer than I have. So I think like the Champaign music scene is at its best right now. I think it's the strongest it's ever been. It's people that's getting taken serious at different levels now. So, you know, like I said, it's eyes on Champaign-Urbana now. So it's up to the artists there to take advantage of it, you know. And it's people working together now. That never has been the case ever. People have started putting their egos aside and realizing that like we're better together, we're stronger together. Like nobody made it by themselves. So
I think it's at its strongest point right now, and it can only get better if we just keep pushing together as one.
After this album drops, what do you see for yourself in the future? Do you see yourself moving away? I won't hold you to this, but do you see yourself moving away from Champaign-Urbana? Or
so I used to fight with, like, I gotta move to a bigger city. I can't make it out of Champaign. I used to tell myself that all the time, but it's in today's music scene, you don't have to be in a big market to make it out. When I mean make it out, I don't mean get signed to a record label, because that's not even the plan now, because you can be your own record label and you can own all your masters and bring money in yourself. So the biggest thing that I've been preaching to my team is, like, ownership. We got to own our own stuff. And right now, of course, at some point I am going to move away, but Champaign will always be my home. Like, I'm not going to go somewhere else and be like, yo, I'm from New York. No, I'm from Champaign, and Champaign molded me into who I am. Like, it's people here that believed in me more than I believed in myself at a point. So I'm always going to support my hometown, and I'm always going to come back. Like, I tell my family all the time, like, it's certain people that when we do get to where we going, I'm only gonna come back in, like, they're gonna be the exclusives, like, that I come back and do stuff with, because it's some people that gave me opportunities and they believed in me when other people was turning me down, and they didn't even listen to my music. They didn't get to know me as an artist. They didn't take a chance, but some people did take a chance, and that now that people see me going around the world doing shows, doing festivals, getting booked different places, everybody wants me to do stuff now. But it's just like, before I was doing this, nobody would help me. But Champaign will always be my home. Just to sum it up, it will always be my home.
Champaign is Also a Band podcast is proud to support Exile on Main Street. Exile on Main Street, located in the old train station building at 100 North Chestnut Street in downtown Champaign, has been helping to build record collections since 2004. Carrying a wide array of new and used LPs, CDs, and video games. Exile on Main Street has something for just about any music enthusiast and old school gaming devotee. Exile also hosts regular free live music shows on its stage, so be sure to check out their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for the up-to-date details on the next upcoming event. Open 7 days a week, they can be reached by phone at 217-398-MAIN. That's 217-398-6246. So what's your favorite non-musical thing?
If I wasn't doing this podcast right now, I probably would have went to open gym and played basketball.
Yeah,
that's my thing. Like, I'm so out of shape right now, so I'm working on, like, just being able to play a full game of basketball without taking any plays off. So,
half court or full court?
Full court. So, like, I go to open gym and I just be like, I be running with the younger kids, and I'm saying younger kids like I'm just so old or something, but I be running with the younger kids like, man, I gotta get back in shape. So basketball is like my second thing, and another thing that I'm trying to get into is like reading more. Like, I'm trying to force myself to start reading more. Russ, he's getting ready to release a book in September. I'm about to get that. I forgot the name, but I'm definitely gonna get that, because he is somebody that inspired me. And it's not even just the music standpoint. Like, his business mind and the way he handles his business is like incredible. So I just want to see his blueprint, not necessarily to follow his blueprint, but just to get an understanding of what he did and where he messed up, so I can try not to make the same mistakes.
It's not out yet, or it will be?
Yeah, it's not out yet. It come out in September.
Is there any other projects that you're working on besides Gatson as a solo artist?
I definitely want to get into like my own clothing. Yeah, I like clothing. I'm gonna start off with shirts though, but I definitely like clothing. Would
it be like centered around your music, or even like? Of course, my mind just drops to that idea of, band merch, but no, it sounds like this is actually like a clothing line.
Yeah. It's eventually it is going to be a clothing line, but right now it is going to be centered around Believers Dynasty and my music and But we are going to start making exclusives that's just clothing.
Do you know how one gets into that, or I'm just right now maybe I'm asking for ideas, but
right now we just throwing paint at the wall and hoping that we get it right. But right now we're in a researching process of like just how we can start making clothes and actually make a brand. We researching it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I
can keep you up to date.
Well, I'm just like, how does one do that? It's like you actually have to have it would seem like you'd have to have a decent sized production and then have maybe a store take a chance on you to like distribute it, or you could do it through like some
big cartel or something.
Big cartel or something.
Yeah, that's where we starting at right now, big cartel, and selling off our site. But you ain't got to start off big. You can start off small, and you can do people can place orders, and that's when you can order the merchandise. You ain't got to get a big bulk at a time, and it's just smaller scales that you can do it.
Yeah, I don't know why my mind jumped to this whole clothing. It needs to be big, but you're right. I mean, like, just
you start
like
off small, just like you with the podcast. You started off small, and it's getting bigger. That's the same way with clothing. To piggyback on when you asked me about, is Believers Dynasty a label? What is it? And the reason I say collective is because it's a group of people. My friends, they write, but they don't really do music. I'm the only one that do music, and I got a couple producers. The rest of my friends, they just believe in the dream. I made Believers Dynasty initially to help my friends get to where they want to go, and music was going to just be the driving force to get us there. So I wanted to build networks. Like I said, P started off doing technology. So if you did technology, if you wanted it to be a nurse, whatever, I just wanted to build a network of people that I can help get my friends to different outlets so they can grow together. Because I believe, like, if you're not building your team up, if you're the only one that's seeing success around you, then you're not successful. If you got a team around you and you're the only one that's seeing success, then what you doing it for? So I believe that, like, I'm not truly successful until I'm able to make sure that everybody around me is successful when I'm not around. So I just want to make sure that everybody is doing something that they want to do and not just feeling like they have to support my music. No, I want to make sure that you get into where you want to get to too. And it's this nonprofit that we're trying to work on right now called Believers for Change. And Believers for Change is just like a nonprofit that I want to give some kids from high school scholarships. We want to do school drives, a lot of other stuff just to give back to the communities. That's one big thing that we're working on, because Believers Dynasty, we just want to change the world. That's all we really care about. It's not about music. It's not about fame. It's not about money. We want to change the world. So that's the biggest thing right now. That's what Believers Dynasty stand for. The biggest thing Believers Dynasty stand for is just trying to change the world.
What inspired the Believers for Change?
Believers for Change, like I said, was inspired by my friend being murdered. And just, he wanted to be an astronaut. So a lot of people don't even know that, like, my main goal at the end of the day is to, like, bring a community center back in Champaign and, like, employ people that actually care for the kids. And I want science to be the big STEM program that we teach to kids, because a lot of people don't know a lot of stuff that science can help. It can really change the world. So I want science to be a STEM program in my youth center, and I don't want it to just be a Champaign thing, but I want it to be in more than one city. So that's my overall goal, to open a youth center and, like, just really employ people that actually care for the kids, because the youth is our future. You can't save people that's already, like, older, like that's my age, because they not really trying to hear what you're saying. But if you can save the youth and get instill in their head that school is cool and, like, science is cool, and actually show them that they can get positive stuff from doing these things, that's how we're gonna get to, like, a better world. Because they are the future. They are our future presidents, our future doctors, our future lawyers. So we got to instill it in them at a younger age.
Gatson, thank you so much for being on the show and, like, making the trip all the way out here. And
no problem.
So I guess we have to look forward to draft day coming.
Draft day on the way.
To be determined.
Yeah.
I look forward to just hearing more about your projects and things that you're up to, and clothing line and the Believers for Change, and gosh, that's just, I don't know. I feel like you've got some great things that you're creating, and I know it's not just you, but as part of this big group, the Believers Dynasty, you've got something that's moving forward, and I think that's amazing. And Champaign-Urbana is just incredibly blessed to have you.
Thank you.
As a part of it. So thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Champaign is Also a Band podcast. It's your boy Gatson. Great music is out there. Go find it where you live.
You almost have an NPR voice. It's so good.
Studio, South Peter, on the inside.